Good morning. Today we're going to be making 3 cabinets in Fusion 360. If I were going to build these, I would design them a little differently, but this is primarily for visual representation. The first thing that I want to do is come in here, open my document settings, hover over this units, and click right there. That will open this dialog box, and then I'm going to change it to inches. If people are comfortable working in millimeters or other units, that's fine, but I tend to think through cabinets and stuff in inches more easily, and that's what I have the directions set up as. So once I have my units as inches, I start my first sketch. I usually come over here or select this right here so that I can do my plane that I'll be drawing on. To make sure that I'm looking down on it, I check over here where the view cube says top. That means I'm looking straight down on it. First step is to create a 2-point rectangle. If you don't see the button up there, it's right here in the drop down menu. So I'm going to click, move my mouse, and I want this first rectangle to be 23 inches deep. So I'm going to hit tab to move over to the left hand side and make that 23. I'm going to hit tab again and hit 32. I now have a rectangle that is 23 by 32 inches. If I move my mouse around, it changes where it places it. I want it right here. There, I placed my rectangle, and for this step, we're going to finish that sketch. I'll come over here by my view cube, click on my home button, and now I'm looking at it from the home view. Next step is to extrude it. I am going to make this 36 inches tall, and for now I'll turn it into a new component. And then I say okay. Here I have a big old block. I will create another sketch. And this time I need to click directly on the face of the extrusion I just made. So I click there, and I want to make a couple more rectangles. So I'll come over here to 2-point rectangle, start in the corner, see how it snaps with the square there. Click, and then move it over here. This X, that's where my mouse is, shows that it's snapping to that side. So I want this rectangle to be 4 inches tall and to snap to the side of the cabinet right there. If it won't snap to the side of the cabinet for you, you can always tell it to be the same width as your cabinet, which is 32 inches in this case. I'm going to make another rectangle. My rectangle tool is already selected. So this one I will start in this top left corner, and I will come down until it intersects with this bottom rectangle I already made. And then I click, and now we're going to use the offset tool, which is right here in modify. If I select the modify drop down, it's also right here. You could press O on your keyboard to do it. Next step is to select this, the second rectangle we made, and I'm going to do 1 inch for the thickness of this section. Depending on what direction you drew your rectangle, you might have to do -1 inch, but in my case, that puts the new rectangle outside. So mine needs to be just 1 inch right there. And I'll hit enter to put the rectangle, and I'm going to create my last rectangle for this cabinet. 2-point rectangle. Doesn't really matter where I put it on here, so I'm gonna go the midpoint, just because that gives you a chance to see the triangle that appears when you snap to the midpoint. So I click to start my rectangle, come across until I get my X that shows I'm snapping to it, and I'll make this 1 inch as well, click to place it, and all of my sketches for this cabinet are done for now. Finish the sketch, and it automatically went to the home view for me. If you want to get back to the home view, it's this little house right here. The next step we need to do is cut into our cabinet using the extrude tool. Same tool that we used to do the first one. If you don't see it right here, then it will be in your drop down menu right there, or you can press E on your keyboard. Start with this bottom rectangle. We're making the toe kick, and you click on the face. I put in -3, and that subtracts the material 3 inches into it. As you can see, the other rectangles on the face of this disappeared, So we have to turn our sketch back on. Come over here into your browser area, down to sketches, click the arrow next to it, and find the sketch that we need, which is this one, and hit that little eyeball right there to turn it back on. We're gonna do another extrusion. So select this upper rectangle inside, and then select this one at the same time, and do minus 22 inches. That way we have an inch all the way around on the sides, an inch for our shelf, and an inch in the back. Hit enter, and we can hide that sketch again. So here we have our first base cabinet. Now we're gonna make our upper cabinet. So yet again, we create our sketch, place it so that I'm looking down from the top view, start a new rectangle. I will put it right here. This rectangle is gonna be 11 inches deep and 32 inches wide. So the size is now defined because I hit tab and put the numbers in, and I click my mouse to place it. Again, finish the sketch. Extrude the rectangle. I will make this one 36 inches tall, and I'll call it a component because then I can do more stuff with it in the future. Say okay. Here we're going to create a sketch on the face of this upper cabinet, just like the last one. This one we don't need a toe kick though, because it's not going to be on the floor. So all I need to do is find my offset tool. If it's not here, we can do it in the drop down menu or hit O on your keyboard. Click this and haha. So if I push 1 on this cabinet, it goes outside of it. So I have to do -1. There it is. Hit enter. And let's put a shelf in here like we did on the last cabinet. I'll snap to the middle again. Come over till I get my X. Oh! Do 1 inch and come on. There we go. There's the X. Okay, finish this sketch and go to the home view. We're going to extrude again. Tools right here, or it's in your drop down menu, or press E on your keyboard. I'm going to click this and this. Since this cabinet is 11 inches deep, I'm going to go with -10. Gives me 1 inch all the way around. Hit enter, and I have my basic open upper cabinet. The third cabinet that I would like to have made is a taller cabinet. So we'll create a sketch again. I'll click right there so I'm looking down. 2-point rectangle, and we're going with 32 wide. This one is, I'll make it 34 deep. No, 23 deep. 23 deep. Hit enter. I have my rectangle. Finish the sketch. Now this one I'll extrude to 72 inches tall. I just typed 72 on my keyboard. It was already selected. I'll change it to a component. Say okay. Create a sketch on the face of it again, right there. This one does go to the floor, so I want to do a toe kick. Start my rectangle in the bottom corner, make it 4 inches tall, and get it to snap to the side. Right there. One more rectangle that goes here. We offset the rectangle, and 1, there we go. Hit enter. This one I want to do a couple of shelves because it is so tall. Tab 1 and 30 inches, or snap to the side. Put another shelf here. Tab 1. Snapped, and right here. Tab 1 and snap. One thing worth noting while we're in this space is this rectangle is black because it snapped to the midpoint. It is in a fixed location. If I adjust the height of my tall cabinet here, the shelf inside will move with it. These two rectangles are not in a fixed position, so I can click and move them around. Let's finish this sketch. Look at it from the home view, zoom in a little, and we're going to extrude. We're going to cut using the extrude tool for the toe kick, -3. Turn our sketch back on, and we're going to extrude all 4 of these openings. 2 minus 22 gives us 1 inch all the way around. Hit enter or click OK, and there we go. Lastly, something that I like to have people do is apply materials to this. Oh, we'll do mahogany, cherry. Ooh, walnut. Walnut cabinets are cool looking. So just to do that, press A on your keyboard and your appearance menu will open. You grab the one that you want if it's downloaded, click, hold, drag, and drop it onto your cabinet. And same thing here. I'll do cherry for that cabinet and mahogany for this one. Now I have 3 cabinets, and there we go. Thank you for joining me. I'll have more out soon.